device. So should I just read the Sanskrit, or do you have devices? Okay. Sibiraya Ninishantam Rajva Adva Ripon Malat Praharjuna Prakopito Bhagavan Ambujekshana Shibiraya Nirashantam Rajvabadva Ripumbalat Praharjunam Prakopito Bhagavan Ambujekshana Shibiraya Ninishanta Rajvabadva Ripumbalat Praharjunam Prakopito Bhagavan Ambujekshana Shibiraya Ninishanta Rajvabadva Ripumbalat Praharjunam Prakopito Bhagavan Ambujekshana Пожалуйста. Пожалуйста. Mataji's.
Shibiraya Nishantam Rajvabadvari Pumbhavat Praharjunam Prakopito Bhagavanam Bhujekshana Shibiraya Nishantam Rajvabadvari Pumbhavat Praharjunam Prakopito Bhagavanam Bhujekshana Shibiraya Nishantam Rajvabadvari Pumbhavat Praharjunam Prakopito Bhagavanam Bhujekshana.
Can you do that word for word?
Shibiraya Pakeliui karo stovyklą Ninishantam vedant jį Rajva virvėmis Badva surištam Pripom priešą Balat jėga Praha tarė Arjunam Prakopita įtūžusiam Bhagavan asmuo,
Dievo asmuo,
Ambudžia Ikšana,
Ambudžia Ikšana,
žvelgianti savo lotos akimis.
žvelgianti savo lotos akimis.
Translation: after binding Ashwatthama, Arjuna wanted to take him to the military camp. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, looking on with his lotus eyes, spoke to Arjuna in an angry mood.
Surišęs Ašvathamą, Arjuna norėjo nusivesti jį į karo stovyklą. Tada Lautosakis Dievo asmuo Šri Krishna tarė įtūžusiam Arjunai.
Is the Lithuanian loud enough? Can you hear it? Sort of. It's okay. All right. Yes, okay. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Both Arjuna and Lord Sri Krishna are described here in an angry mood. But Arjuna's eyes were like balls of red copper, whereas the eyes of the Lord were like lotuses. This means that the angry mood of Arjuna and that of the Lord are not on the same level. The Lord is transcendence, and thus he is absolute in any stage. His anger is not like the anger of a conditioned living being within the modes of qualitative material nature. Because he is absolute, both his anger and pleasure are the same. His anger is not exhibited in the three modes of material nature. It is only a sign of his bent of mind towards the cause of his devotee, because that is his transcendental nature. Therefore, even if he is angry, the object of anger is blessed. He is unchanged in all circumstances.
Komentaras. Šiame posme rašoma, kad ir Arjuna, ir Viešpats Šri Krishna degė pykčiu. Tačiau Arjunos akys buvo tarsi raudoni vario rutuliai, o Viešpaties nelyginant lotoso žiedlapių. Tai reiškia, kad Arjunos ir Viešpaties pyktis nėra tas pat. Viešpats įkūnija transcendenciją, todėl jis visada yra absoliutas. Jo pyktis nepanašus į materialios gamtos būdų veikiamos sąlygotos gyvos esybės pyktį. Viešpats absoliutas, todėl nėra skirtumo tarp jo rūstybės ir malonės. Jo pykčiai nedaro įtakos materialios gamtos kūnas. Viešpaties pyktis tai ženklas, kad jis susirūpinė savo baktų, nes tokia jo transcendentinė prigimtis. Todėl net jo rūstybė yra gėris tam, į kurį ji nukreipta. Viešpats nesujaudinamas jokiomis aplinkybėmis.
Siviraya Manishantam Rajvabhadva Rupam Bhavat Paharjunam Prakupito Bhagavan Ambujekshana. After binding Ashwatthama, Arjuna wanted to take him to the military camp. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, looking on with his lotus eyes, spoke to Arjuna in an angry mood.
Surišęs Ašvathamą, Arjuna norėjo nusivesti jį į karo stovyklą. Tada Lautosakis Dievo asmuo Šri Krishna tarė įtūžusiam Arjunai.
Namah Vishnu Krishna Prasad Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachadi Shatarane Vanchkalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Padidana Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes, right. So, this is a very interesting part of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Tai labai įdomi Srimad Bhagavatam vieta.
Because you could say it's very practical.
Galima sakyti, kad labai praktiška.
And it's very relevant to everyone, basically.
Ir ir labai svarbi kiekvienam.
The idea is how to deal with offense against yourself.
Čia kalbam apie tai, kaip elgtis, kada mus kažkas įžeidžia.
And the idea is how to deal with offense against yourself. Okay. Yeah, right. Normally the subject of offense is, something which is discussed fairly often in Krishna consciousness.
Jeigu tas įžeidimas yra toks, apie kurios dažnai kalbama čia Krishna sąjungos filosofijoje.
Normally the idea when we discuss offense is what to do about our own tendency to commit offenses.
To speak louder.
Speak louder. I can always turn the amplifier up a bit. Who is the главный звук master?
Kažkas gali pareguliuoti.
Программы летали.
Right, okay, so generally the concern is, when it comes to offense, what about my tendency to be offensive?
Ir kada kalbame apie žaidimus, tai svarbu yra tai, kokią aš turiu polinkį įsižeisti.
But now the point here is what to do if someone offends you.
Ką daryti, kai kažkas įsižeidžia?
It's an important question because inevitably it happens from time to time in this world.
Nes neišvengiamai tai nutinka kartas nuo karto šitam pasaulyje.
And, if someone offends us in some way or other, we may feel the need or the desire to retaliate.
Ir kai mus kažkas užgauna, mums toks kyla noras atsikirsti, atsilyginti.
And there's even a saying, at least in English, I don't know about in Lithuania. Yes, what? Pagavorka, Pagaliski. That the best defense is a good offense. If you want to defend yourself, get aggressive, something like that. And that may well be the tendency. If someone does something against us. So this whole question here is going to be over the next, several or 10 verses or something like that. It's going to be discussed from different points of view. Because, talk about committing an offense. You've been following this, I assume. You know what offense Ashvatthama has just committed. Talk about an offense. Sure. It's a terrible, terrible offense. Normally we may get upset if someone tells us that we're stupid or something like that. Quailis, right? Because sometimes we are quailis, actually. Maybe often even. Anyway, but now this is far worse offense against Arjuna or the Pandavas than just saying, oh, you're stupid.
Bet čia ne toks žaidimas, kad tiesiog kažkas pasakytų Arjunai ir Pandavams, kad jūs kvailiai.
Their 5 children were murdered.
Buvo nužudyti jų 5 vaikai,
Just small children.
maži vaikai.
And they were all killed for no reason at all
Ir nebuvo jokios priežasties juos žudyti.
while they were sleeping.
Jie tiesiog miegojo tuo metu.
And they were all small, I don't know how many years, but, you know, probably not even old enough to go to school.
Jie, nežinau, kiek tiksliai metų jiems buvo, bet ko gero net dar mokyklos nelaikė.
Yeah, there were 5 children.
Tai 5 vaikai.
Each one was a son of one of the Pandavas.
Ir šitie 5 vaikai, kiekvienas iš jų buvo vieno iš Pandavų sūnus.
And they were all the children of Draupadi.
Ir visi jie buvo Draupadi vaikai.
So, I don't know, can you imagine? I mean, it's very hard to imagine how would we feel if such a thing happened.
Ir ar galite įsivaizduoti, kaip jaustumėtės, jeigu mums kažkas tokio nutiktų?
I was just thinking the devotee Mataji who was there with the little boy,
The little girl.
girl. Sorry. Anyway, yesterday we had a program with a child, 9 years old, whose hair is as long as any of your ladies.
Ir vakar turėjom tokią programą, kur buvo toks vaikas, kurio berniukas, kur 9 metų, kurio plaukai buvo tokie ilgi, kaip čia matote.
And I asked the mother, Anulakshita, you know her, does your daughter have a question?
Ir žmogus Anulakšitas paklausė, ar jūsų dukra turi klausimų?
And she said, well, it's my son actually.
Iš tiesų, tai čia mano sūnus.
Yes. Anyway, so I thought this was a little boy.
Atrodo, kad gal berniukas.
But we could ask her, and she's probably never thought of it, but how would she feel if someone killed her son?
Bet galėtume jos paklausti, kaip jie jaustųsi, jeigu kažkas užmuštų jos vaiką.
I'm sure it would just be, you know, the most horrific experience she's had in her whole life.
Tai būtų pats baisiausias įvykis jos gyvenime.
So, you know, I don't want to do a spoiler. You understand spoiler? Means, you know, sometimes people do a review of a movie and they tell what the end is, and it's called a spoiler.
Aš nenoriu daryti taip, kad kartais žmonės pasakoja apie filmą ir pasako, kaip baigsis viskas.
Okay. Yes, so, you know, it's really, talk about offenses against them, it could hardly be worse.
Ir iš tikrųjų tas nusižengimas buvo toks baisus, kad baisiau negalėtų būti.
But, you know, so Arjuna and Krishna, who are speaking to each other here, they are both of the opinion that just kill him now.
Ir Arjuna ir Krishna buvo įstikinę, kad reikia tiesiog jį nužudyti tuoj pat.
But, and you can understand why they feel like that.
Ir galima suprasti, kodėl jie taip jautėsi.
But that's not how it works out in the end.
Bet taip visai nenutiko galų gale pabaigoje.
Should I tell you how it works out in the end?
Ar pasakyti, kaip baigėsi ta?
I won't tell you.
Nesakysiu.
You can look in the book if you like.
Norit pasižiūrėkite į knygą.
But he is not killed.
Bet jis nebuvo nužudytas.
But rather something, you know, much less than killing him is the final, like, agreement of how he should be punished.
Ir tada buvo toks, kaip sakyti, buvo pasitarimas, kaip jį nubausti.
So anyway, there's a whole discussion. You'll be going through it for the next week or so.
Tai Taigi visą šitą diskusiją apie tai jūs skaitysite kitą savaitę ateinančią.
And the different types of logic which are applied are very interesting.
Ir įvairius loginiai argumentai bus pateikti, buvo labai įdomus.
Because in life, there's so many subtleties.
Nes gyvenime iš tikrųjų yra tiek subtilybių.
Yeah. So, and as devotees, we have to get used to thinking in terms not just of what appears obvious, but often of what may be a subtlety or some subtleties in a situation.
Ir kaip bhaktai mes turėtume negalvoti taip, kad kas yra vien tik tai, kas matyti, kas akivaizdu, bet yra ir apie įvairias subtilybės, kurios situacija gali būti.
Right, so it's not, life often is not so simple.
Gyvenimas dažnai nėra toks visiškai paprastas.
Yes. So anyway, devotees, in general, devotees are people who look more deeply into practically any subject which comes up.
Ir bhaktai yra tokie, kad jie labai giliai žiūri kiekvieną, visą tai, kas vyksta aplink.
Anyway, the point which Prabhupada focuses on in the purport is itself a type of subtlety.
Ir tai, apie ką kalba Prabhupada komentarė, irgi viena iš tokių subtilybių.
Prabhupada makes the point that both Arjuna and Krishna are angry.
Prabhupada pažymi, kad ir Arjuna, ir Krishna pyksta.
And in fact, you'll read on, you'll see in the next few verses, Krishna expresses great anger and makes the point this fellow should be killed.
Ir kitose posmuose matysime, kad Krishna iš tikrųjų išreiškė pyktį ir sakė, kad reikia nudėti šitą niekšą.
Although he changes his opinion as the discussion goes on.
Bet paskui pakeičia nuomonę, kai toliau diskutuojame.
So Prabhupada in the purport says, both Arjuna and Krishna are in angry moods.
Ir Prabhupada sako, kad ir Krishna ir Arjuna pyksta.
But they are different angry moods.
Bet jų pyktis skiriasi.
Arjuna is sort of in like a typical mood of anger, you could say.
Arjunos pyktis toks, galima sakyti, tipiškas.
His eyes are like balls of red copper.
Jo akis raudonos kaip varis.
In other words, he's just on fire with anger.
Jis tiesiog dega pykčiu.
But Krishna's eyes are like lotuses.
Bet Krishnos akis primena lotoso žiedlapius.
Yeah, that's, a lotus is something very beautiful and very nice.
O lotosas tai kažkas labai gražaus.
And, how can you use the example of a lotus to express someone's feeling of anger?
Ir kaip galima kalbėti apie pyktį, kalbant apie pyktį, lyginti su lotosu kažką.
So anyway, Prabhupada then goes on in the purport to make the point that actually Krishna's anger and his pleasure are the same.
Ir Prabhupada komentarė sako, kad iš tikrųjų Krishnos pyktis ir jo malonumas, malonė yra tas pats.
Of course, Krishna does get violently angry sometimes.
He does.
He does.
Kartais Krishna iš tikrųjų būna įsiutęs.
Like Lord Nrsimhadev.
Pavyzdžiui, kaip viešpats Nrsimhadev.
He was angry, he was violently angry.
Jis buvo tiesiog pašėlęs iš pykčio.
Even some of like Lord Brahma was there, Lord Shiva, demigods, they felt he was too angry.
Ir pusdieviai, kurie visą tai matė, viešpats Brahma, viešpats Šiva ir kiti galvoja, kad jūs per daug pyksta.
So even though he is their beloved Lord, they wouldn't go close to him.
Ir nors jų mylimas viešpats, jie tiesiog bijojo prie jo prisiartinti.
So you know, the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when he gets into different moods, he manifests different bodies.
Ir aukščiausias Dievo asmuo pagal savo nuotaiką reiškia įvairius kūnus.
When he's in the mood of being a king, like ruling and, you know, directing things, he takes the form of Lord Ram.
Ir kai jisai tokiai nuotaikoje būti karaliumi, viską pavyzdingai valdyti, tai yra viešpats Rama.
Yes, and when he's in a really angry mood, he takes the form of Nrsimhadev.
O kai jis žiauriai supyksta, jis apsireiškia Nrsimhadevas pavidalu.
He took the form of Lord Kurma.
Jis taip pat apsireiškia viešpaties Kaunas pavidalu.
When he had to go down into the Garbadak Ocean to retrieve the Earth planet, he took the form of Varaha, who is, you know, a pig.
Ir kai jam reikėjo pasinerti į Garabadakos vandenyną ir iškelti ten nugrimzdusią žemę, jisai priėmė šerną, apsireiškė šerno pavidalu.
I know, it says, Prabhupada uses the term boar.
Taip Prabhupada verčia taip kaip šernas.
Because a boar is sort of more respectable than your average pig.
Ir šernas skamba šiek tiek garbingiau negu tiesiog paprasta kiaulė.
But a boar is a pig,
Bet iš
actually.
esmės šernas tai yra kiaulė.
So the Garbadak Ocean apparently is very dirty.
Garabadakos vandenynas yra labai nešvarus.
Earth planet had fallen into that ocean.
Ir Žemės planeta įkrito į vandenyną.
And so the Lord took a form which is a type of form connected with sort of dirtiness.
Ir viešpats apsireiškia tokiu pavidalu, kuris, galima sakyti, susijęs su tais purvynais.
Yeah, sometimes when you're in Vrindavan, you see the pigs,
Kartais Vrindavane matote kiaulės.
and they just literally swim and dive in the mud.
Jos tiesiog nardo po tą purvą.
And I don't know if you've seen it, I've seen it a few times, how in India, many of the houses, in the villages, many of the houses don't have toilets in the house.
Ir kaip žinot, Indijoje daugelis namų, jų viduje nėra tualetų.
They don't have any toilet of any sort.
Aplamai jokių tualetų neturi.
But there are 2 fields for stool.
Bet yra du tokie laukai skirti išsituštinimui.
The men's field, the ladies' field.
Moterų ir vyrų.
And it still works like that in many villages.
Ir daugelyje kaimų vis dar taip tęsiasi.
But I've seen on a few occasions that early in the morning, there's a couple of men in the men's field on the other side at the end.
Ir kartais ryte matau Indijoje tokiam lauke, vienam gale lauko keli vyrai.
And there are a few pigs on the other side.
O kitoj pusėje lauko kelios kiaulės.
And the pigs figure out what the men are doing,
Ir kiaulės galvoja, ką jie ten daro.
because the men are doing it.
Nes vyrai kažką ten daro.
And so the pigs have a race who will get there first.
Ir kiaulės ten lenktyniauja, kuri pirma ten nuleis pietų išmetu.
Excuse me,
Atsiprašau už tokią temą,
but it's true.
bet tokia.
And I've seen on a couple of occasions, one of the pigs runs faster than the other pigs, and he gets there and he knocks one of the men over.
Mačiau, kaip viena kiaulė pralėkė visas kitas, prilėkė prie vieno iš tų vyrų ir tiesiog jį, nustūmė.
Shishina Tagore Chandra ki jai. And the poor man, you know, sort of crouching down, and suddenly he just flies into the air.
Ir tas vargšas vyriškis buvo ten atsitūpęs ir staiga jisai nuskrenda kažką.
Excuse me, I will not talk about that anymore
Daugiau apie tai nekalbėsiu
today. Yes, so the Lord takes a suitable form when he's dealing with a dirty situation.
Tai viešpats, kada jam reikia turėti reikalų su to purvu, tai jisai apsireiškia atitinkamų pavidalų.
And it's said actually that things fall off the planets and fall down into the Gardha Ocean.
Ir dar sakoma, kad daiktai, kažkas tai nukrenta nuo žemės ir įkrenta į tą Garbadakos vandenyną.
So, you've probably, did you ever lose something and you just couldn't find it?
Ar buvo kada nors, kad kažką tiesiog pametėt ir negalėjot surasti?
You know it's in your house or somewhere, it's nearby, must be.
Tai žinot, kažkur namuose ar kažkur šalia namų.
But you search and you just can't find it.
Bet jūs ieškot ir niekaip nerandat.
It fell off the planet.
Tai matyt, nukrito nuo planetos.
It's a new shoot card for it.
Čia tokia juokelis toks.
And it's in the Gardha Ocean.
Ko gero, įkrito į Garbadakos vandenyną.
So if you want to get it back, you've got to go down there.
Tai gali ten pabandyti paieškoti.
Yeah, anyway. So we, of course, we get into different moods.
Mes aišku irgi įvairias nuotaikas juntam.
But when we're in different moods, we of course, we can't manifest different bodies.
Žinoma, skirtingose nuotaikose mes nesugebam apreikšti skirtingų kūnų.
But we may dress differently. Dress,
Mes
clothes.
galim apsirengti skirtingai.
Now here we are in the temple, we're in our devotional clothes.
Dabar šventykloj mes visi apsirengę vaišnaviškais drabužiais.
At least some of us are.
Bent jau kai kurie iš mūsų.
But when you go to work,
Bet kai eisi į darbą,
you probably, I don't know, but maybe you don't go in these clothes.
ko gero neeisit su šitais drabužiais.
Yeah, and when you go to sleep at night, I don't know, but maybe you don't wear these same clothes.
Bet turbūt kai einat miegot irgi neinat su šitais drabužiais.
So, yes, we adopt sort of a different aspect of ourselves in different situations.
Taigi mes prisitaikom prie įvairių situacijų.
But Krishna accepts completely different forms.
Bet Krišna nedrabužius keičia visą pavidalą.
And, everyone is complex,
Ir kiekvienas yra toks sudėtingas.
complicated. Everyone is complicated.
Mes visi komplikuoti.
But Krishna is so complicated.
Bet Krišna pats komplikuočiausias, pats sudėtingiausias.
He has an unlimited number of different moods.
Ir jo nuotaikos neribotos.
And therefore he has an unlimited number of different bodies.
Todėl jo formų yra neribotas skaičius.
Anyway, here, this is an interesting situation.
Kaip ten bebūtų šita situacija, kurią aptarėm labai įdomi.
Krishna is angry, but he doesn't look really angry.
Krišna pyksta, bet jis netrodo labai piktas.
He looks, lotus-eyed, he looks very beautiful.
Jo akis gytlotas, jis labai gražus.
Now, Lord Nrsimhadev didn't really look so beautiful exactly.
Ir Simchadeva negalima pasakyti tiesioginė prasme yra, kad labai gražus.
Particularly when he had the garland of intestines of Hiranyakashipu.
Ypač kai jis užsidėjo Hiranyakashipu žarnų girliandas ant kaklo.
Anyone like a Mahagala?
Ar norėtų Mahagala girliandas tokia?
I don't know. I don't know if he threw it, I guess he threw it away. But but now it's a similar situation.
Bet dabar yra panaši situacija.
5 devotees have actually been killed.
Ir yra nužudyti 5 vaišnavai.
At least Prahlad Maharaj was not killed.
Bent jau Prahladai Maharaja tai nebuvo nužudyta.
These 5 small children, they had just been killed.
O čia nužudyti 5 nedideli vaikai.
How old is your child?
Kiek amžiaus
Kiek
vaikų?
metukų? 2.
2.
2 metukai.
And did we say it's a girl or a boy?
Gal.
It's a girl, okay. Anyway, we will not ask you how you would feel if she was killed, murdered.
Mes jūsų nebandom paklausti, kaip jaustumėtės, jeigu kažkas nužudytų jūsų vaiką.
Don't even think about it.
Net negalvokite,
That it would be horrible.
bet būtų siaubinga.
So this is really, I mean, it seems worse than the situation Prahlad was in.
Atrodo, kad šitą situaciją dar baisesnė negu ta, kurioje buvo Prahladai Maharaja.
And the Lord became so wildly angry.
Ir tada Viešpats buvo tiesiog pasiutęs.
And in this case, he is angry.
O šiuo atveju jis taip pat vyksta.
And you'll see as the verses go on, few verses, how he expresses great anger.
Ir kitose posmuose matysim, kad jis išreiškia didžiulį pyktį.
Like, just kill him.
Tiesiog nužudyti.
That's all, just kill him. Don't. You know what they say? Shoot first, ask questions later.
Pirmiausia, nušauk, o paskui uždavinėk klausimus.
Or in this case, it's like, shoot first, don't ask any questions.
O šiuo atveju tai tiesiog šauk ir neuždavinėk klausimų.
Right. But in the end, he's not killed.
Bet galų gale Ašvatama nebuvo nužudytas.
So anyway, the thing is that Arjuna is in, a type of mood that you would expect by material standards. Arjuna.
Arjuna buvo taip supykęs, kad apie ką sunku kalbėti iš materialių
You would
požiūrių.
expect. After
Prasme, galima šitą tikėtis, kad Arjuna buvo taip supykęs.
his eyes are like balls of red copper.
Ir jo akis buvo raudonas kaip vario rutuliai.
He's just overwhelmed with anger.
Jis tiesiog buvo
But
visiškai apimtas pykčio.
Lord Krishna is also angry, and he's going to express some anger.
Ir Krišna taip pat pyksta ir jis išreikš pyktį žodžiais.
But it's all very different from ordinary anger.
Bet jo pyktis labai skiriasi nuo paprasto žmogaus pykčio.
Yeah, so he is thinking, Lord Krishna is thinking, what to do with Ashvatthama.
Viešpats Krišna galvoja, ką daryti su Ašvatama.
At the moment, initially he's feeling that he should be killed.
Dabar jam atrodo, kad jį reikia nužudyti.
But actually he's thinking more deeply than that.
Bet iš tikrųjų jis daug giliau galvoja.
Yeah. As Prabhupada says, it's only a sign of his bent of mind towards the cause of his devotee.
Ir Prabhupada komentare sako, kad tai tiesiog jo pyktis tai ženklas, kad jis susilipnė savo baktą.
Yeah, he is thinking, he's thinking of how to deal with this in terms of his devotees' involvement.
Ir jisai galvoja, kaip pasielgti šitą situaciją, kurioje yra baktai.
And actually, Ashvatthama is a devotee, or he's definitely the son of a great devotee.
Ir Ašvatama irgi galima sakyti yra tam tikros baktas ir jo tėvas iš tikrųjų buvo šarkšnas atsidavęs.
So Prabhupada says, therefore, even if Krishna is angry, the object of anger is blessed.
Ir Prabhupada sako, todėl net Viešpaties valstybė yra gėris tam, į kurį nukreipta.
So Ashvatthama, Krishna is also thinking of Ashvatthama, and he's thinking what would be best for Ashvatthama.
Ir Krišna taip pat galvoja apie Ašvatamą ir galvoja, kas būtų geriausia jam.
And eventually he'll decide it is best he is not killed.
Ir galų gale nusprendžia, kad geriau, kad jis nebūtų nužudytas.
But it's best that he's punished,
Būtų geriau, kad jis būtų nubaustas.
but in such a way that he'll understand what a bad thing he's done and he'll never do such a thing again.
Ir nubaustas taip, kad jisai suprastų, ką siaubingo jis padarė ir kad daugiau niekada to nepadarytų.
Because, so the decision in the end is to embarrass him, embarrass Ashvatthama in front of the world.
Ir sprendimas buvo toks, kad padaryti jam gėdą priešais visą pasaulį.
Because Ashvatthama, he sort of got a mixed nature like Kshatriya Brahman, but he's more in the Kshatriya mood.
Ashvatthama yra toks mišinys Kshatriya ir Brahmano, bet labiau čia jis veikia kaip Kshatriya.
And if a Kshatriya is embarrassed in front of the whole world,
Ir jeigu Kshatriyai padaryti gėdą viso pasaulio akivaizdu,
as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita,
kaip Krishna sako pagal Gita,
that embarrassment for the Kshatriya is worse than death.
tas pažeminimas gėda jam yra blogiau už mirtį.
Because Kshatriyas, they have a very strong sense of pride.
Nes paprastai Kshatriyai yra labai išdidūs.
You know, in Kali Yuga, people have mixed natures.
Ir kaip žinot, Kali Jugoje žmonių tas prigimtis yra tokios sumaišytos.
But if you find someone who is just really proud,
Bet jeigu ką nors pamatysit, kas iš tikrųjų yra labai išdidus,
really proud, then you must know there's some Kshatriya nature in this person.
jeigu labai išdidus, gali nuspręsti, kad tas žmogus yra Kshatriyo prigimties.
That person with a little Kshatriya nature may also be a chicken. Harimaya. You understand chicken in the sense of
A hen?
no, a scaredy cat. Someone who's really frightened. That's called a chicken.
Tas, žodžiu, kas yra labai išsigandęs, galima vadinti viščiuku.
This is English, sort of, you know. Kind of like yeah, so he may be part Kshatriya with the pride, but he's very scared. He'll run away if there's a fight.
Kažkas šiaip atrodyti kaip Kshatrija, bet kovoja, jisai išsigąs ir pabėgs.
So that's not part of Kshatriya nature.
Tada reiškia, toks išdidumas nebuvo Kshatrijos prigimtis.
That's just Sudra at best.
Čia toks geriausiu atveju šūdros.
Or less than Sudra.
Arba dar žemesnės žmogaus pasipūtimas.
Yeah, but the pride is part of Kshatriya nature.
Bet Kshatrijo prigimties dalis yra išdidumas.
Especially if it's like extreme pride.
Ypatingai, jeigu tai yra toks begalinis išdidumas.
Yeah, so anyway. Krishna is thinking, along with being angry, he's thinking how to help Ashvatthama.
Ir Krishna nors ir pyksta, bet jisai galvoja, kaip padėti Ashvatthama.
He's also thinking how to help the parents of those children.
O taip pat galvoja, kaip padėti tų nužudytų vaikų tėvams.
And sometimes to balance up all the different considerations in a situation, sometimes it can be mind-boggling trying to figure out what is the best thing to do.
Ir kartais tokiai situacijai, kai reikia pagalvoti apie visas pusės, visus interesus, tai tiesiog labai didelis protui uždavinys.
Because it's so easy to go on one tangent or another tangent.
Nes labai lengva tiesiog nuspręsti vienu ar kitu metu.
And then you make the wrong decision.
Į vieną pusę ar į kitą ir padaryti klaidingą sprendimą.
And then you commit an offense.
Ir tada pats padarysi žaidimą.
Therefore, in Krishna consciousness, one of the most difficult things, and maybe the most difficult thing,
Krišnos sąmonė vienas iš sunkiausių dalykų, galbūt net pats sunkiausias,
is how to deal with fault.
kaip elgtis, kai kažkas padaro klaidą ar turi kažkokį trūkumą.
Including your own fault.
Ir čia įskaitant mūsų pačių trūkumus.
Of course, we are prone to be very charitable with ourselves.
Mes reikia savo labai būti nuolaidus.
If you tell someone, you're stupid,
Jeigu kažkam pasakysi tu kvailys,
then you think, yes, it's true, I just spoke the truth.
ir aš taip pasakau kažkam ir galvoju, tai čia tiesa, aš tiesiog pasakiau.
But if someone tells you that you're stupid,
Bet kai kažkas jums pasako, kad tu kvailys,
it's probably true to some degree,
ir kas gali būti iki tam tikro laipsnio tiesa,
but you take it as an offense,
bet jūs įsižeidžiat, kad čia yra žaidimas.
like this. So, yeah, we're very prone to be charitable towards ourselves, but, we easily become angered by others.
Ir iš tikrųjų mes savo tai esam labai tokie supratingi ir nuolaidus, bet kitų atžvilgių galim labai greitai įsižeisti.
And this is one of the great things to be sort of wary of in your interpersonal dealings.
Ir tai atkreipti reikia dėmesio santykiuose su kitais.
To stop thinking that you're special and everybody else is not as special.
Liautis galvoti, kad žmogus toks ypatingas, o visi kiti tai nieko ypatingi.
Because at least they're as special to themselves as you are to you.
Nes jie irgi gali galvoti.
You don't understand?
Taip.
You think a person thinks he or she is special.
Žmogus, kiekvienas iš tikrųjų linkęs galvoti, kad jis ypatingas.
And other people are not as special as them.
Netokie ypatingi.
But the other people think they are as special themselves as you think you're special.
Bet kiti irgi galvoja apie save, kad jie yra ypatingi taip kaip ir tu apie save galvoja.
So, we've got to be very careful when we deal with other people.
Todėl mes turim būti labai atsargus elgdamiesi su kitais.
Yeah, particularly in making criticisms and things like that.
Ypatingai, kai norim kažką pakritikuoti.
Because if you criticize someone, inaccurately, that's an offense.
Nes jeigu kažką neatsargiai, nedėmesingai pakritikuosi, tai bus įžeidimas.
Some people are in the habit of going around saying that he's a fool and she's a fool, and they're calling people fools.
Yra tokių žmonių, kurie vaikšto ir, baksnuoja pirštais, šitas kvailys, ta kvailė, visus kvailiais vadina.
But they're not that foolish. Maybe they make some mistakes sometimes, but generally they're not just fools.
Bet jie nėra kvailiai, galbūt jie daro kažkas klaidas, bet jie nėra kvailiai.
Sometimes you see when there's elections,
Kartais matom rinkimai vyksta.
the one side is trying to inspire people to vote for them, that we are really good.
Ir kokia nors viena partija bando visus įkvėpti balsuoti už juos ir pasakoja, kokie jie nuostabūs.
So vote for us.
Balsuokit už mus.
But the other side, they are just idiots.
O tie kiti, tai tikrai idiotai.
Total idiots. So how could you vote for them? It would be crazy.
Jeigu jūs balsuosit už juos, tai būsit visai iškūti.
But it's not correct.
Bet tai netiesa.
Yeah. So anyway, this material world is full of nonsense.
Bet kuriuo atveju šitas pasaulis pilnas nesąmonių.
Like, don't buy this car, it's a stupid car.
Nepirkit šito automobilio, kažkoks beprotiškas.
Buy our car, because our car is just fantastic.
O pirkit mūsų pagaminti automobiliais tiesiog fantastiškas.
This is what's going on in material life all the time.
Ir štai materialiam gyvenime visada taip vyksta.
So we can learn a lot actually just through this discussion which is going to develop over the next maybe, I don't know, 10 verses or whatever it is.
Taigi galim daug ko pasimokyti iš tos diskusijos, kuri bus aprašyta maždaug 10.
And how, the deliberations are made by the different people involved.
Ir kaip visi argumentai yra tų žmonių, kurie dalyvauja.
And ultimately, the idea of not killing Ashvatthama comes from the mother of the children who he killed.
Ir iš tikrųjų ta idėja, kad nereikia žudyti Ashvatthamos, atėjo iš nužudytų vaikų mamos.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any comments, questions, complaints? Prabhu, Hare Bol.
Aš apie tai patį noriu pasakyti. Ten vienam iš komentarų buvo žodis bhava, tai reiškia, kai buvo, tas žodis, ten buvo paminėtas, ne tai, kad tyros širdies, bet tos širdies, ten pasakys vienam tekstui, sakys, nežudykit, nes jis buvo jis mūsų guru, jo tėvas išmokė, kaip sakant, save karybos meno.
Didn't understand a word.
This is comment. This about
Comment.
Yeah.
Yes, comment.
Okay.
This Draupadi, the argument of Draupadi was that he's a son of the spiritual master, the master of martial arts, Drona.
Yeah.
So the argument.
I mean, that's part of it. Anyway, don't do spoilers. We will find out.
Nepasakokit, kaip baigėsi, mes sužinosime apie kas.
Anyway, good point. You are knowledgeable devotee. Yes.
I have 2 questions.
Start with one.
As we know, this is like a Krishna's lila, this situation. So then we can learn from this. But also, we also know that Krishna lets us decide for ourselves. So this situation that Ashvatthama did, is it like more like this is like Krishna's plan that is supposed to be like this, and he just picked Ashvatthama as this person to do this terrible thing, or is it Ashvatthama? Is this his choice? Because we also can choose for ourselves. So what is this, or is it both?
Okay.
Noriu paklausti, ar šita situacija yra kaip Krišnos, tai yra Krišnos žaidimas ir ar tai Krišna tiesiog žinojo, kad taip turi būti ir jis parinko tinkamą asmenį atlikti tai, ar jisai, žodžiu, vis dėlto Ashvatthama pats nusprendė, taip pasirinko, nes mes renkam, mes turim visada pasirinkti.
You know, the thing is, Krishna doesn't just sort of play with people.
Nėra taip, kad Krišna žaidžia su žmonėmis kaip su žaislais.
Like, this is a real situation.
Čia yra tikra situacija.
Ashvatthama, he really felt like that, and therefore he did it.
Iš tikrųjų, Ashvatthama norėjo tai padaryti ir jis tai padarė.
It wasn't just sort of like he became like robotically, Krishna made him do it, and it was nothing to do with whether he wanted to do it or not.
Nebuvo, kad jis kaip kažkoks robotas, kurį Krišna privertė tai padaryti, o jis pats tai visiškai neturėjo nei tokio noro.
You get the idea? Yeah, it's a real, he really did it because he felt he wanted to do it.
Taip jis padarė, nes norėjo tai padaryti.
Because, you know, his father was killed
Nes jo tėvas buvo nužudytas.
by, I forget who, maybe Arjuna, or just Arjuna, Okay.
Krishna nužudė jo tėvą.
who was related to the Pandavas. But one way or the other, he did it because he really, really wanted to do it.
Kaip ten bebūtų, jisai padarė tai, nes norėjo tai padaryti.
And but Krishna is using like a real situation to make a number of real points.
Bet Krishna panaudoja tą realią situaciją, kad iškelti, parodyti skirtingus dalykus.
And you know, there's not really a need so much to have people just act out parts, just, you know, like actors in a movie, just to make some point.
Ne taip, kad jis taip padaro tos žmonės kaip kažkokiais aktoriais spektaklį, kad kažkokius dalykus.
Because you get enough real situations of all different varieties to make all different sorts of points.
Nes yra pakankamai tų tikrų situacijų, kurios gali parodyti, kas yra.
Having said that, in the 4th canto is the story of Puranjan.
Ir apie tai kalbama kaip Puranjanos istorija, 4 giesmė.
You read the story of Puranjan?
Skaitėt tą?
Oh, you've been a devotee, so.
First Shima Bhaita. I'm reading first Shima Bhaita. First
Skaitom.
Okay. Anyway, go for it.
Tracy.
But it's very interesting, but about this person called Puranjan.
Labai įdomu, tas asmuo vadinamas Puranjanu,
He gets into different situations.
patenka į įvairias situacijas.
Like, he has a wife, and he's just overwhelmed with attraction to his wife.
Jis turi žmoną, kurią tiesiog beprotiškai įsimylėjęs.
And he's just in wife consciousness.
Ir jis tiesiog savo žmonos sąmonėje.
So what happens in his next life?
Ir kas kitą gyvenimą nutinka,
He becomes Puranjani,
jis tampa Puranjani,
yeah, a woman.
moteris.
So, I mean, such things have happened in reality too.
Ir tokie dalykai vyksta tikrovėje.
Like Bharat Maharaj became a deer.
Kai Bardama pradžia tapo
Because
elniu,
he just got too absorbed in this little creature.
nes per daug prisirišo prie elniuko.
But somehow or other, you know, Shukadev Goswami, particularly speaking the Bhagavatam, he felt that to illustrate, to show, make certain points, why not tell some fictitious story?
Ir Šukadeva Gosvami kartais, kai norėdamas pabrėžti tam tikrus dalykus, jisai kartais naudoja tokias, kaip sakyti, pramanytas istorijas.
Yeah, but even having said that, there have been so many, you could say, Puranjan type people who got into that sort of situation.
Bet net jeigu ir taip išgalvotas istorijos, iš tikrųjų gyvenime pilna tokių žmonių kaip Puranjana, kurie tokiai pačioj situacijai atsiduria.
But like in the Bhagavatam in general, you know, many points are made by telling different things that happened.
Ir Bhagavatam daugelis dalykų yra atskleidžiami, tiesiog pasakojant apie įvairius įvykius.
Like the story of Ajamil.
Pavyzdžiui, Džemilos istorija.
It's real. There was Ajamil, he was a person, and he went through all the things that the Bhagavatam describes.
Ir Džemila yra realus asmuo, kuris taip išgyveno visus tos dalykus aprašytus.
And the point, and it's the very real point, is that simply by chanting a name of the Supreme Lord, even, you know, inattentively indicating something else, still he was delivered.
Ir esmė tame, kad Parodyti tai, kad jeigu pakartoju šventą vardą, tai netgi jeigu ir nelabai susikaupęs, ar ten turėdamas omeny kažką kitą, vis vien šventas vardas išvatuoja.
It's such an important point.
Tai yra toks svarbus
Oh,
dalykas.
it's just of tremendous
Be
importance.
galo svarbus.
How powerful the holy names are.
Koks galingas šventas vardas.
And it wasn't even the name Krishna, it was the name Narayana,
Ir tai net nebuvo vardas Krishna, tai buvo Narayana.
which is sort of a bit of a lower level name.
Kuris skaitomas šiek tiek žemiau už Krishnos vardą.
Narayana. Nara means the humans.
Nara reiškia žmogus.
And Ayana means like the resting place or the shelter.
Ayana reiškia prieglobstį.
So it's referring to human beings in the material world.
Taigi tas vardas kaip ir susijęs su žmonėmis materialiame pasaulyje.
And when there are names of the Lord which are describing him in terms of some material function, these are considered secondary names.
Ir tie vardai, kurie susijęs su kažkokia materialiomis funkcijomis, jie skaitomi šiek tiek žemesni.
So Narayan can be considered a secondary name.
Taigi Narayaną galima laikyti tokį antros pagal reikšmingumą vardu.
But still, just a secondary name delivered this, hopelessly sinful person, saved him from going to hell.
Bet net ir tas antrinės reikšmės vardas išgelbėjo tokį baisų nusidėjėlį nuo pragaro.
So what would have happened if he chanted the name Krishna?
O kas nutiktų, jeigu jis būtų pasakęs priešingai?
It would have been better.
Dar geriau būtų.
Yeah. Is that okay?
Gerai. Pahmat prieš.
Oh yes, sorry.
Yes, and the other question that you said that
Mercy.
Yes, like Krishna's anger and mercy is the same. So did that mean that Ashwatthama got the mercy from Krishna?
That's right.
Yes.
He got mercy. Because he got, you could say he got corrected. Yeah.
Čia buvo klausimas, kaip buvo pasakyta tekste, kad viešpaties valstybė ir jo malonė yra tas pats, tai klausimas buvo, reiškia, kad Ashwatthama gavo malonę, atsakymas taip, jis gavo malonę, jis buvo pataisytas.
Yeah, for these people who do, like people who kill people, it is actually mercy that they may be, hung or punished by death.
Pavyzdžiui, kaip tie žudikai kažkokie, tai yra malonė, kada jie gauna mirties bausmę.
Because they get free from the karma, very bad karma, from killing someone. When they're killed, they get freed from that karma.
Nes jie kažką nužudo ir kada juos nužudo, tai jie iš karto atperka tai svarbiaudą karą.
And they know why they're being killed.
Ir jie žino, kodėl jie yra nužudyti.
Yeah. So that's a type of mercy.
Yra tam tikra malonės apraiška.
Who's next? Yes, Prabhuji.
Norėjau paklausti dėl pačio termino to įžeidimo čia buvo panaudotas, nes lietuvių kalboje mes suprantame įžeidimą kaip tokį lengvesnį nusižengimą. Ar Ashwatthamos tą veiksmą galima pavadinti įžeidimu, kaip offense, ar tai yra nusikaltimas? Ir tada kaip graduoti nusikaltėliai yra įžeidėjai ir nusikaltėliai. Čia kaip agresorius jis veikia. Ir ta bausmė turėtų būti, kaip žaidėjam ar kaip nusikaltėliam, agresoriam.
The question related to the word offense, because what we translate to Lithuanian offense, what we say in Lithuanian įžeidimas is more, we understand more about, not like saying fool, something like this.
Criticism.
Yeah, because in this case was like a crime, it was like a criminal, he was a murderer, so it's very big difference.
Yes.
So,
we must invent a new word in Lithuania.
That's the problem. We're missing very words. Like different English.
Yes, seriously, you can invent a word. In English, words get invented every day.
So we try, but not easy.
Like, anyway, sort of an example. Prabhupada used the term rascal often. Yeah, and like to refer to atheists and, devious scientists. And lying politicians. Prabhupada would say they're rascals. But in Russian they use the word negade. Which is, extremely heavy word, right? In English, rascal is normally a word which is used for a mischievous child.
So we have also medium word with like nowadays, which is not so heavy.
In India, where they use a lot of English, if you call someone a rascal, they'll be very offended. Because they take it more like negade. Like you're just a really terrible person. Anyway, the use of language, got to be careful.
Bet šiuo atveju aš vadinama buvo ar toks žaidėjas, ar nusikaltėlis, kurį reikėjo, bausti.
So was his like offense or was like crime? So he was like rascal or he was negade?
Okay. He's like that. You need the equivalent word. Or you maybe just adopt that word in Lithuania.
So we have both.
Yeah,
means that was like offense, kind of not good behavior, or this was a crime.
It wasn't just an offense like, the like aparad. It wasn't just aparad, like against worship. Aparad means aparadha. Radha means worship. It's against worship.
Kaip tas žodis aparada reiškia, arada yra garbinimas, apa reiškia prieštaraujantis garbinimas.
But in English, crimes are called offenses also.
Bet anglų kalboje ir tas nusikaltimas ir įžeidimas, gal greičiau nusižengimas būtų.
It's a very common use. It's not just like insulting someone.
Tai nėra kaip kažkoks tiesiog, kad negražus žodis.
But it's definitely used for crimes.
Ir tas žodis naudojamas nusikaltimui.
Anyway, let's not get mixed up and confused about it. It's pretty straightforward. Oh, yes, sorry.
What about this? What Then he became like the next ambassador, so he got a very exalted position.
Well, but thing is, Krishna, his idea was to correct him.
Čia klausimas buvo, kad Ašvatama po to tapo sekančiu Vyasadevą, kaip ir gavo labai šaukštą padėtį. Ir Maharajai sako, kad Krishnos tikslas buvo jį pataisyti.
Because he was the son of very elevated father.
Nes jis buvo be galo išaukštinto tėvo sūnus.
And the mother also, creepy, she was very elevated lady.
Ir motina taip pat buvo labai išaukštinta moteris.
She was Brahman, and he was sort of Brahman Kshatriya.
Ir ji buvo iš Brahmanų šeimos, o Drona buvo Brahmanas Kshatriya.
And Ashvatthama, he just kind of fell down. So he's referred to as Brahma Bandhu.
Ir kadangi Ašvatthama, galima sakyti, nupuolė, tai jį galima vadinti Brahma Bandhu.
Means like relative or friend of a Brahma.
Reiškia Brahmano giminaitis.
So Krishna wanted to really sort of straighten him out.
Ir Krishna iš tikrųjų norėjo jį grąžinti teisingumo kelią.
So he gave him, or he agreed eventually that he should be punished in a way which, according to his Kshatriya nature, was worse than actually killing him.
Ir jis pasirūpino, kad Ašvatthama būtų taip nubaustas, kad ta bausmė, reiškia, jam turinčiam tokią Kshatriya dalį prigimties, jam būtų baisiau blogiau užmirti.
To embarrass him in front of the world.
Kad padarytų gėdą, jį pažeminti prieš visą pasaulį.
For a Kshatriya, it's just completely intolerable.
Ir Kshatriyai tai tiesiog nepakeliama.
They may just commit suicide.
Jie gali nusižudyti net.
Yeah, like in the battle, if they're being defeated by some particular opposition and the person doesn't kill them, the Kshatriya feels insulted.
Ir pavyzdžiui, jeigu Kshatriya kažkas mūšio lauke nugali, bet nenužudo, tai jis įsižeidžia.
Yeah, tell him, listen, kill me.
Pažeminimas, tai nužudyk.
There's a story. There's a number of stories I've been thinking of as the discussion goes on. But there's one story about Dhenukasura. Dhenukasura, as we know, Dhenukasura was killed by Lord Balaram. But there have been other Dhenukasuras. And one of them was killed by Krishna. And before he was a devotee, but then he became a demon. Some bad association. And so he attacked Krishna in his demon mood. But now he's attacking Krishna, he's looking at Krishna. And just by looking at Krishna, his devotee mood just came up again, and he was no longer a demon. And so this Dhenukasura says to Krishna, please kill me. And Krishna says, no, I can't, you're a devotee now. And Dhenukasura says, don't worry about that, just kill me. Just let me get out of this situation. Rather than have to live on for so many years. Who knows what will happen. Very well. Right. Hare Krishna.